Dang, I ain't got no eyebrows though. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Wabosha. So like I announced on my Instagram channel, I'll be filming your requests back to back to back. And I think I have about 5 or 6 requests. And the sun has moved, so I look a bit more normal now. So last month I received an email from a lady called Marianne, and let me just read it for y'all real quick. And it says, "Hey, thanks for your reply. Actually, my main problem is that the products to use and how to get originals here in Nairobi. And also, how do I know which suits my skin type? Would you mind touching on that too?" So the main thing Marianne wanted to know is which products to use and which suits her skin type, and also how to get originals in Nairobi. Okay, first I'm going to start with the original products thing. I feel like the best advice I can give you guys about getting original products is looking for the makeup stands. Like, let's say you go to Spa Cosmetics, there's like the Sleek stand and the Floma stand, because no company will allow a fake product to be put on their shelves. So that's like a really huge tip I can give you guys. If you go to a place that sells makeup and the makeup is on like the company's stand, there's a good chance that makeup is original. Also, if you go to places like Linton's, I know there's one on Moy Avenue and another one in Junction. Linton's always stocks original makeup. So the first thing you need to know before you start putting on makeup is your skin type. And there are basically 3 different types of skin, and that's normal, dry, and oily. And a huge percentage of women suffer from oily skin. Even like all the messages I get are usually, "Oh my god, I have oily skin. What do I do? How do I apply my makeup so that it lasts all day?" So knowing that you have an oily skin is the first step. Next, you need to know how to manage oily skin. So like, for example, we'll start way back when you're washing your skin. If you have dry skin, you want to use more of the moisturizing cleansers. And if you want to know that a cleanser is moisturizing, it usually looks milky, like it looks white when you pour it. Like the one I use, the Olay one, it's very moisturizing. And if you have oily skin, avoid the milky ones. You want to stay the clear ones. But most of the time it writes, like on the packet when you're buying your products, it says that this is for oily skin or it's for dry skin. And one thing that I hear a lot, especially as a makeup artist, is that I didn't oil my face because I have an oily skin, so I feel like it makes it worse. Actually, no, not oiling it makes it way worse. So, because, okay, how do I explain this? Moisturizer works as a barrier. You know, at the end of the day, makeup is still a chemical, so if you use it badly, it can damage your skin. So the moisturizer acts as a barrier to protect your face from all the makeup that you're about to stay all day with. So yeah, don't forget to moisturize. I'm just going to go through a bunch of makeup products and tell you which one is best for oily skin or dry skin. So the first thing when you want to put on makeup is start with a primer. So if you're oily, you want to look for something that is really mattifying. Like City Color has some oil control mattifying spray. That one is really nice. And if you have dry skin, stay away from the mattifying one. They'll just really dry out your skin. Like, for example, I have normal skin, and that's why I use rose water as a primer, because I don't need any mattifying. I actually don't like the mattifying effect some of these products have, so I really like that dewy effect with makeup. I don't like looking matte. So yeah, if you have oily skin, stick with your mattifying primers, and if you have oily skin, stay away from the, if you have oily skin, get the mattifying primers, and if you have dry skin, stay away from the mattifying primers. Also, primers primers help, like, it's like creating a nice canvas before you start working. And there are various primers out there. For example, if you have really large pores, Benefit has the Professional Primer, and it helps reduce the size of your pores. When we move down to the eyes, before you put on your eyeshadow, you want to use an eye primer. and there are very many different eye primers in the market. I just choose to use concealer to prime my eyes because I like how that works best. But there are really affordable primers out there, like Illegal Pro Primer. They have like 3 different shades. They have a nude one, a white one, and a black one. If you have oily skin again, or oily eyelids, because some people have normal skin but they tend to have oily lids, you just really want to make sure that you set the primer with a powder before you move to your eyeshadow. And primers just basically help your makeup last all day. So there's actually a difference if you apply your eyeshadow with or without a primer. Next, I'll move on to concealing and color correcting. I actually learned this tip from another YouTuber. She's called Kangai Miti, and she has really oily skin. So what she does is she'll put the orange corrector everywhere on her face where she has a blemish, and then she will set that with a powder. So if you have really oily skin, that's something that works. I've actually tried it on my oily skin clients. So you do the correcting, then you set that with a powder, and then you do your foundation and set it again with a powder. And also, if you want to go step it up a few notches, you can do your primer, then you set that with a powder, conceal, set that with a powder, foundation, then set that with a powder. But it's not an everyday kind of thing. It's like, let's say you have a night out and you want your makeup to last all night without having to blot your face. Do this and it will last really long. Of course, if you're dry, don't you even dare using that much powder on your face at once. So next, we're moving on to foundation, and if you ask me, foundation can be like a whole video on its own. For example, how do you know if you have warm undertones or cool undertones? How do you know which type will match your face? How do you know what color to pick? Like when you go to a store and you want foundation, how do you know which color to pick? And if you want a video like this, let me know. Like, I'll be really happy to do one of these for you guys. But for now, I'll just keep to the 3 types of foundations. So there is basically a stick foundation, cream to powder foundation, and the liquid foundation. Stick foundation is really good for dry skin, and there's a YouTuber out there, she's called Joanne Kinuthia. She has a really amazing channel. You should check her channel out. She has dry skin and she uses a black opal stick foundations, and she says it keeps her face moisturized and not dry throughout the day. So the next foundation is a cream to powder foundation, and this is what I personally prefer for my skin type. And cream to powder is for normal skin or slightly dry, slightly oily, just there in between. The one I use is the cream to powder foundation from Stalk, and I really like it, but the problem is it doesn't have a lot of coverage. So if you're going for something with a lot more coverage, I wouldn't recommend the Floma cream to powder foundation. So next we have liquid foundations, and this basically come in 2 types, and that's the mattifying oil-free liquid foundations and the moisturizing liquid foundation. So clearly, if you have oily skin, you want to go for a foundation that has a very mattifying effect. If you have dry skin, you want to go for a moisturizing one. And an example that I can give of a moisturizing foundation is the new Elegals foundation. It's actually called Illuminating Foundation. And let me tell you, it is illuminating. Like, I've actually tried it on my face, and you glow. You really do glow a lot. So if you have oily skin and then you have all that glow on top of it, you won't like it. Although I have heard of people with oily skin using the mattifying ones, using the illuminating foundations. But what they do is they use a really mattifying primer first. They set that, use the foundation, and then use a really mattifying finishing spray. But that's like too much work. Just don't get an illuminating foundation if you have oily skin. And for dry, that was for dry skin. So now we're moving on to oily skin. They have the mattifying ones. And mattifying foundations, there's so many different mattifying foundations out there. I feel like it's actually one of the most concentrated on foundations out there. Like all companies will just come up with foundation and it will just be mattifying, because like I said, majority of the women have oily skin. So yeah, the thing I'll be talking about is the setting powders. And if you have oily skin, get the powders. Like powders are your best friend. You want to set everything, you know, like the way I said, do concealer set, do foundation set, even baking. Like if you're oily and you've never tried baking your face, try it. Like I think you'll really like it. On the other hand, if you have dry skin, stay away from powders. Like they'll really dry your face. Actually, come to think of it, you should apply powder like that chef. You know that chef who's gone viral right now? I think I'll insert a video now. Yeah, like be mean with your powder. Also don't bake for too long. Like just leave your powder on for a few seconds and remove it. Do you feel me? You feel me? Do you understand me? One more thing, the same way there's illuminating foundations, there are also some powders that are illuminating, like CoverGirl. CoverGirl has this illuminating foundation. It comes in like a blue packet, and they actually advertise it as an illuminating foundation for the winter times, you know, because how winter dries your skin and stuff. So if you're dry, if you have dry skin, you can look for the illuminating powders, and I think you'll like them. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you already haven't, and see you tomorrow for another marathon video. Bye.